So the guy I'm going to introduce next, we met, God, I don't even know how many. Is it 4 or 5 years ago now? 3.5 years, 20 years? I'm not sure, because we become like brothers. And you guys know who I'm talking about. It's Rick Green. And it's hard to adequately describe our relationship. I think that in some ways you could call us the Two Stooges, might be accurate. But our families have become so close, it's like we've completely integrated families. When I hang out with Rick and Kara and the kids, I'm just like a member of the family. And when our kids are with them, it's exactly the same. Reagan and his daughter-in-law Faith work for us, helping to run our intern program. I mean, we actually trade family back and forth in that way. Some of our best interns and our best young leaders have come from Patriot Academy. Some of our best young leaders then go on to be leaders in Patriot Academy or work for Rick. It's just this complete symbiosis between our two organizations. These guys are the best people in the country at training up young leaders. And there's literally, in my opinion, nobody better than that at Patriot Academy. The values are right. It's biblically based. They understand American history in its true light, and they teach it better than anybody else. It's not even close. And what that means for us is we can send people to Patriot Academy and they can learn all this stuff, and then they come out going, okay, I want to go do something, and those become our best activists. Almost everywhere I go in the country, I shouldn't say almost everywhere I go in the country, without exception, I'm somewhere and somebody says, I heard about you from Rick Green and Patriot Academy. It's true the other way around too. People are like, I had no idea Patriot Academy was out there until I heard about it from you. It goes back and forth. The other thing that Rick provides for us is he makes sure that all of our people know how to shoot, which is kind of important, particularly important right now. And so he trains all of our folks in self-defense out at Patriot Academy. If you haven't been out there, I recommend that you arrange a visit to do it. Now, one thing that always makes me a little bit nervous when I'm with Rick is I'm not sure exactly how this happens, but he has this tendency to run out of gas on long road trips. I had nothing to do with that. I just want you to know. We're generally not allowed together without minders, usually our wives, and the reason for that is because we make ridiculous, outrageous plans and commit to them. And then our wives, we come home, we're like, hey, we decided, and our wives go, what? No. They usually go along with us anyway. One thing that makes me nervous about Rick is I tend to be kind of a last-minute guy, and people tell you I'll skid in backstage just before I'm supposed to go on stage. Somebody hands me the notes, and I'm ready to go. My staff has kind of gotten used to that. Rick makes me nervous because I think he's here, but I'm not entirely sure. So I'm hoping when I say this that he comes on stage. Welcome my brother from another mother, Rick Green. Woo!
Oh, I love you, brother. I love you too.
Thank you, man.
He's here. I'm so glad he's here.
I almost stayed back there just to make it.
I'm not. I just want you guys to know, I had not seen him before I came out here. So
Y'all think I should have hid for a minute just to make him a little more nervous? That would have been better.
Do you guys know the story of us running out of gas?
I was going to put the slide up there. Did y'all hear him throw me under the bus a few minutes ago?
What?
Yeah, said I was the one.
Yeah, you
Who
were.
was driving? Who was driving when we ran out of gas?
Yeah, who pulled in the night before and didn't fill the tank with gas?
I don't know who that was. That was somebody else on the trip.
All right. So the real story, we'll give you the brief version because we actually have things we're supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
But by the way, I got told by somebody backstage that we're supposed to be off stage. We have a hard stop at 3 p.m. And I said, God, I got this hearing aid and it's kind of buzzing on me. I think she said 3:10.
Okay, yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
So
tomorrow, 3:10 a.m.
Something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna.
We could go that long. Yeah. Don't tempt us. So we were in Montana, right? Is it Montana
which
or
we're going back to, right?
Yeah, we're going back. We're going to be seeing you guys in the dead of winter, so we can't run out of gas this time. So we were there, and I don't even remember what cities we're in, but we pulled in at night. When Rick and I are on the road, it's pretty much like this. In the car all the time. It just doesn't stop, and we're thinking of all these ideas and all these fun things we could do and ways we can save the country and people we need to work with and places we got to go. So we're literally just not paying attention. Thank God we've never hit a deer or anything, right? So we pulled in one night. I don't even remember where we were. Pulled into a hotel, and Rick was driving, so it's kind of his fault. And And so he didn't look at the gas gauge, of course, and because he just doesn't do that. And we stay in this hotel, and we were swapping off driving. And so the next morning, we had to drive all the way. Was it Montana?
I think we were in Montana.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we got Montanans in here, so don't take any offense, but that's the middle of nowhere, actually. Right? Like, you can actually find that place in Montana. And so I was driving the next morning, and I assumed, as I should, that my co-pilot had filled the tank with gas appropriately.
If you're driving, should you not look at the gas gauge? I mean, I can't even see it from the passenger seat.
Can't
How
even
am I supposed
trust
to
your co-pilot. It's just terrible. So I get in the car in the morning and fail to look at the gas gauge. And so we take off, and it's a long drive. We're going a long ways, and we have a place we got to be. And so we're driving along, and all of a sudden Rick goes, what's that red light there on the dash? Is that the fuel light? I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that is the fuel light. It looks like we're way low on gas. Like, okay, what are we gonna do? And it was one of these fancy new cars, and it tells you how many miles you got.
Like, it's good, man. You know, as I said, we had 25, 30 miles. We were 10 miles away from a place to get gas.
Yeah, and so we're driving, and we're driving, and we're driving, and then I all of a sudden look and I realize it's saying how many miles that we can go, and no matter how far I drive, that's not going down. I go, Rick, I think there's a problem here. Like, it still says we have 23 miles left in the tank, but we've gone like 6 or 7.
Of course, me being the eternal optimist, I'm thinking, well, that's just the Lord keeping the tank full. You know, we'll be fine.
So I drive a couple miles further, and all of a sudden, cha-chink, 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 cha-chink. And Rick goes, man, you're kidding around. Stop kidding around.
I really thought he was.
Dude,
really
I am
did.
so not kidding around. And we are in the middle of nowhere. There's some cows, and that's pretty much it. That's the local population. And it's actually sleeting outside. So it's like,
there's not even a house.
No,
like
no
there's
houses.
not a house. There's not a ranch.
No nothing. No exit signs. We are in the middle of nowhere. And so we pull over to the side of the road. We are absolutely, definitely out of gas. And so thank God Rick has survival skills, because he opens up his phone and he calls an Uber. Just like a regular Boy Scout.
And it said your ride is on its way, and it just kept circling. You know?
I told him, unless cows know how to drive, we're not getting an Uber out here. And so Rick actually, like, he opens the phone. By the way, thank God we had cell service.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places in the middle of Montana you got no cell service. So he opens up the phone and he finds a nearby motorhome park, right? Like an RV park. Yeah. And he calls them up and he says, you know, basically, we're a couple of morons on the side of the road, city slickers, we're out of gas. We think we're about like 8 miles from you. Can you, is there somebody there that could help us and bring us some gas? Lady says, yeah, hold on a second. Let me ask my mama. Right? I'm not kidding. Mama Tracy, can you come in here?
Can you get them a jar of gas? That's what she said. A jug.
A jug of gas.
A jug of gas.
And she goes, Mama Tracy's going to come out. She'll bring y'all a jug of gas. I said, like, I'm picturing a moonshine jug.
That's
like,
what I was thinking.
Brings a jug of gas. Okay, so Mama Tracy shows up. Thank God. I mean, it's sleeting. We're just laughing, by the way. We're filming ourselves because it's so hilarious. We're sending videos to our wives and our staff.
Assuming we're going to survive.
Yeah. Or it's just kind of like the last.
Yeah. Somebody will get to see it at some point. Yeah.
And so Mama Tracy shows up, and she kind of looks what you would expect, like somebody who was way out in the middle of nowhere. And she's kind of a big lady, and she's in denim, and she drives up in a beat-up old pickup truck. And so Rick,
actual gas can, though.
She has a regular, not a jug.
The jug.
It's just a can.
Yeah.
And she gets out, and Rick goes back to talk to her, right, first. And so why don't you tell what she says to you?
She asked us what we're doing. You know, what we're doing out in the middle of country. And I said, oh, well, we teach on the Constitution, and we're going out and teaching on the Constitution. And she goes, oh, well, do you know? And I don't even remember the names.
Yeah, she names a bunch of John Birch Society
they were all
guys.
big John Birchers. And Mark here's
no.
it.
First no. She says to you,
oh, y'all aren't the ones trying to change the Constitution, are you? That's what she said. Yeah. And I said, no, ma'am. We're trying to underline portions of the Constitution and save it. We're trying to restore the Constitution.
So Rick walks up with Mama Tracy as I'm getting out of the car, and he's like, "Don't say anything. Nothing. Cannot say anything." And so,
and I'm trying to get the gas in our car as quick as possible.
So it puts the gas in the car, and she's asking me, do you know so-and-so, and you know so-and-so? And I'm like, I haven't heard of those guys. She goes, well, those are John Birch Society guys. Those are the guys I listen to. I'm thinking, good Lord, she's going to call one of them. They're going to get a backhoe, and they're going to bury us out here in the middle of nowhere. It's their best opportunity they're ever going to have, right? End the movement right here. And so we put the gas in the car, and we thank Mama Tracy. We actually took pictures of it. We got video and pictures of all this stuff going on, so you guys know it's actually real. Mama Tracy sends us on our way, wishes us luck, and we get back on the road, proving that even the John Birch Society can do a good deed every now and then.
Yeah, that's good. It humbled us to be.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
So this is why when I say that our wives don't like us to go on the road without a minder, I'm not kidding. Deanna, by the way, was partially on that trip, but she claims no responsibility because we were on our own on that portion. I think that's fair.
I have to admit that when my chief of staff is Kay, who Mark helped us name Special K. She really is. She's amazing. And when she sent me the email saying, hey, Mark wants to do another trip in October, I have to admit I paused for a second. I never pause. And when Mark calls and wants to do something, I'm just like, yes, whatever it is. I don't even care what it is. I say yes. But this time when she said another trip out, it's going to be, multiple states up there out in the middle of nowhere, I paused. I did. I just only long enough to make sure, okay, how many gas stations are there?
You know what? Michelle, who is my assistant, does everything for me, just like Special K, Magic Michelle makes sure everything goes right. In my calendar recently, I'm not kidding, it says, stop for gas. Thank you, Michelle.
Way
I
to
did
go,
stop
Michelle.
for gas.
Can you make sure on that October trip that's in there at least once a day? Yes.
Yeah. God. I think the quintessential picture from that trip is in front of the restaurant where we got on, I don't even know what you call it, the mechanical horses for little kids out in front of the restaurant? Me and Rick on these two horses up like this, like we're riding.
I wish I'd put the slide in, because I made a slide where it's got that picture of Mark and me having a great time. It says how it started.
Yeah.
And then it shows us on the side of the road how it's going.
Okay, so you need to hear all that. By the way, Rick and I end up doing stuff like this on Flashpoint. If you don't watch Flashpoint, we did a special birthday greeting from here for Gene.
Nice.
Which his birthday's not next Monday, but the following Monday, so that'll be part of the montage.
Nice.
But if you haven't watched Flashpoint, you should. It's news with a Christian point of view, and we have a good time on there. We all kind of harass each other. Yeah. Everybody gets in on it. Rick goes in for special harassment, probably because you slide in like 60 seconds late sometimes.
Every time.
So anyway, check it out on Flashpoint. I do want to talk about 250.
Yeah.
So I went to an event at Patriot Academy. Rick asked me to attend. He invited. How many groups were represented there? It was big.
It was like 40 that night, and we're working with about 100 that we're shooting for.
Okay, so this was kind of the grand opening for America 250. And so we're all there at Patriot Academy in the big legislative chamber. And Rick makes his pitch for 250. And one of the things I've been thinking about 250 is I have no idea what to do. Like, that's not what we do, right? That's what you guys do. Yeah. And people are like, you got to do something for the 250th. And I'm thinking, it's just not what we do. And so that's for us, we try to stick to what we call the hedgehog principle. We do what we do, let other people do what they do. The one thing we do well is grassroots. That's our thing. But I knew we needed to do something for 250. So Rick invited me out there. He said, we're doing something big for 250. You got to come see. I've invited a bunch of groups in. Moms for Liberty are there, a bunch of other groups. And so Rick makes his big pitch for doing this. And there's a bunch of different sponsorship levels. And so that groups can get in on. And I'm looking at them like, we're definitely doing the top sponsorship level. We want to be in. We want to do everything we can do, not just to support Patriot Academy, but because it's good for us, because we want all the resources. He's got the whole thing laid out. The whole plan is there, how we're going to celebrate the 250. It's absolutely incredible. And so he says, we're just looking for people to come in and sponsor. And so I raise my hand, and he calls on me. I'm like, I'm in. We're all in. We're going to do the top sponsorship level. And so it was kind of like starting the bidding.
I was about to say, which means y'all were the first partner.
Absolutely,
first
right?
Yeah, so.
And so, don't applaud yet.
Yeah.
So then I went back and I did what every great leader does, which is I delegated all of this to my staff, because that's what you got to do, because I don't do any of this stuff, except I forgot the delegated all to my staff part. So I went back and I just didn't tell anybody that I had just... Anybody at all? Like, I didn't tell Rita or any of the exec team. I didn't tell Patty. I had just made this commitment that we're going to do this thing. And then a couple weeks later, I was talking to Rick. We were talking about it. I'm like, and so, was I supposed to tell somebody about this? Well, how does it work? Like, how do we get this going?
Details.
Yeah, and you know what he said? It was so awesome because he was so dialed in. He's like, I don't know.
But it's going to be fun.
He's literally, I may talk to Trey or there's somebody that will know what we're supposed to. This is the real deal. So if you wonder, like if you look at Convention of States or Patriot Academy, like, oh man, they do such a great job. It ain't us. So ultimately, thank God, the staff jumped in and they approved us being involved in this. And so I want to tell you, it's terrible. I want to tell you a little bit about how this is all going to work. So these guys have a whole plan laid out for over the next year, how we're going to celebrate the 250. There's a dashboard. If they go to patriotacademy.com /
Or that QR code, if they want to put that up again, just go to that QR code. That's at y'all's website. And once you go through there, you'll have access to your dashboard. And it has all the tools. It has the class. It makes it really easy for you to set up a local class and send out emails to your friends.
Talk about what the class is.
Yeah, so it's, how many of y'all have been through biblical citizenship or constitutional life? Okay, great. Excellent. So it's very similar to that, but it's a lot shorter. We basically hit the highlights. So Tim and David Barton did a bunch of, some new material specifically to the Declaration and celebrating that. And so we wanted to have kind of a bigger, a larger funnel at the top that you could get more people to commit to a 4-week class or even a 1-day, because each of the videos are less than an hour, a 1-day class, and get them in to get fired up, and then they'll start looking for other ways to get involved. And then you can do biblical citizenship or constitutional life and start going deeper and deeper. But it's just a fun, entertaining, spot on at this moment in time when everybody's talking about the 250th opportunity for you to use. And those of you that are familiar with Wall Builders and David Barton, the theme there is, and I still host David's radio program, Wall Builders is all about rebuilding the walls out of Nehemiah. Rise and rebuild the walls that we may no longer be a reproach. And so this course is about what are the right bricks with which to rebuild, what's the right mortar that you can use and the right mindset. And so it's teaching people how to actually build and then giving them those steps. And of course, COS and doing amendments is sprinkled all throughout those steps. So it's everything from term limits to getting rid of certain departments of the federal government to getting people educated on the Constitution. I mean, it's all of it. It's what we're already doing and been doing together, but just kind of gives us a special vehicle to do it with to capture this moment in time that we have.
And you call the course is called Rebuilding Liberty.
Rebuilding Liberty, yeah.
And then there's an end goal for this whole thing that you want to do on the 4th. Right?
Yeah, so we're shooting for 5,000 celebrations all over the nation. Now, there's 20,000 communities in America with 500 or more people. So if we wouldn't make the Hall of Fame bat in 250, but if we can get 25% of those 20,000 communities to do something, either at your county courthouse, what I told the White House back in February was, hey, don't try to do a top-down approach. Let everybody do their own thing. Just encourage everybody to get together and do something. Let them have their biker rally. Churches should do this at the church so that you're restoring the church as the epicenter of the community where this kind of stuff happens. Your county courthouse, all that. And so you guys all do one in your backyard. We're looking for 5,000 celebrations. And that's not just us doing that. That's Moms for America, Moms for Liberty, Liberty Pastors, Turning Point. I mean, it's all the different grassroots organizations. And thankfully, the White House is doing exactly that. They're kind of doing a hands-off approach, encouraging it. They're taking the information that we're giving them on founders' quotes and faith moments in history and all that kind of stuff. And Trump's talking about those things, but they're not going to try to micromanage it. There's no special, you got to be on their list to do this sort of thing. So it basically means all of us can do this and use it as an excuse. Now, we'll say we're going to build towards July 4th, but you got to get people educated ahead of time. You don't want them just waving the flag and doing fireworks on July 4th. They need to understand why that flag is worthy of being waved and make sure that July 4th is the celebration where they all come together, wherever it is, in the backyard, church, wherever, and big blown up copy of the Declaration of Independence, and they come forward and sign, and they pledge their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor. Because after July 4th is the actual full year of the 250th. In other words, between now and July 4th is our prep time, and then on July 4th begins the 1-year anniversary. And so from that point, we have a whole year to get that many more people involved. So it's really, we've got about a year and a half, almost 2 years from right now to make this count. And don't do like in 1976 You know, that was if you were alive at the time, you might remember the Freedom Train, and there just wasn't much that was lasting. The only thing that really lasted was Schoolhouse Rocks. Yeah. How many of y'all have ever watched Schoolhouse Rocks? You know, I'm a Bill. Okay, that was 1976. That's when that was created. So this Rebuilding Liberty and our courses that we're creating, kind of the Schoolhouse Rocks for this year and for the 250th. Let's make it last. Let's make sure we get, our goal is 4 million people. We've already put 1 million people through the Constitution classes. Let's put another 4 million people through during this cycle of the 250th and flood the zone with candidates and just getting more and more people involved. I mean, we should be able to have, I mean, honestly, Mark, I think we can triple or quadruple the COS volunteers during this window of the 250th.
Hey, Rick, I just kind of noticed from somebody off stage we're out of gas. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother from another mother, Rick
Bless you
Green.
guys. See you at dinner.